Sydney Fizzard for Rebel News, coming to you from Alberta for a very important provincial by-election determining who will be the next MLA to be elected for the Olds-Didsbury-Three Hills area. I'm Sydney Fizzard with Rebel News, and today we're going to talk to some of the locals in this area and those coming here for certain events to find out their perspective on this by-election, which could set the stage for the referendum that is expected to take place on leaving Canada's Confederation in the year ahead. How do you feel about this upcoming by-election?
I think if we just send a message with it to the Premier and the UCP, it's the main thing. Like, I don't think voting for the Independence Party, I think it's called Republican Party, will actually change what's happening, but it gives a message to the UCP Party that we're not happy with how things have been, because they've already been doing what they do for, a year and a half or more.
Yep.
So there are certain things that have changed, but most of it seems to be like Danielle Smith talks good about what she wants to get done, but nothing actually happens. So it's a lot of talk so far. So if we can get a message that we're ready for change, even if it doesn't bring much except maybe another seat in the legislature for the Republican Party or something like that, that's a step forward. I don't trust that the Republican Party is actually, like Cam Davies himself, has had issues with maybe subverting the democratic process in the past under Kenny. So I don't trust that everything's going to be on the up and up with either party. It's just like we the people have to hold them accountable somehow, whether it's getting another seat of another party in or something. Same as with UCP before, like Kenny started well but didn't finish well. So we had to get the message to him that we're going to get another leader, which I was part of that kind of process back then with Danielle Smith getting voted in as the leader of the party. So now that she's had time but hasn't changed anything, still we have to do other things.
We're not doing all that. I can't lie, the separatism and all that in Canada, like, it's not going to happen. I feel like Alberta, it's a very sensitive topic, but I feel like people need to honestly just get real. It's not gonna happen, and it's like people who do are, it's kind of ignorant in the sense to like the people who were here before us and Indigenous and all that. So it's just like me personally, I don't support it, but I can see why some people would.
I'm for Alberta separating.
Well, there you go. And that seems to be the big question in this by-election because there's the expected referendum next year. And a lot of people are looking at this riding thinking, well, if they vote for a separatist MLA, then that separatist referendum might be a lot more likely. So are you gunning it for Cameron Davies, I guess, in the Republican Party?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what is the best reason to advocate for separatism?
So that we don't have to pay all our money to people back east for, people here are starving and yet we're shipping money off.
So just a quick note, it is a very small town. This is Diddsbury we're at, and as you can see, not too many people walking around for the streeters. I don't necessarily want to start harassing people at their homes, but some of the individuals that I spoke to, one of them said that he's hopeful a separatist candidate will win the election here, and another one said, well, it doesn't matter about Alberta here in Canada because all of the seats in Ottawa are largely designated towards Ottawa, Quebec, the Atlantic provinces. So that separatist sentiment and that Alberta unhappy with the federal government situation, both those sentiments have already been prominent here. We're now in Olds, Alberta, and this is another one of these small towns. As you can see, we bumped into one of the recreational events they have here. Dirt bikes are racing around this track here. It's something that you're not going to see in the cities that much. Let's be honest, this is where people go to, burn those carbon dioxides that those environmentalists hate so much. But really, they're not causing any harm to the planet here. They just want to live their lives, and as you can see, have fun while they're doing it. And obviously, there is some danger associated with this sport. We just saw one person crash. It looks like he's okay, though. But this is just that small town atmosphere that you can expect to see that you're not going to see in these big cities where NDP, liberal, left-leaning candidates are often more prominent. You guys are doing some racing here. Something I imagine has gotten more costly under our federal government in Ottawa.
Oh yeah, the American tires and American parts, of course, are probably going to go up more. Our gas comes from the U.S., but we've been doing this out here for 47 years. This is one of Canada's oldest horse tracks, 1899, and we're pleased that they let us do this.
Well, and it also speaks to the quasi-rebellious spirit here in the area. And speaking of which, we have our the by-election taking place here tomorrow, where separatist candidates might be able to get a win here. How do you feel about the separatist sentiment in the area?
Well, I don't live here, but I saw all the signs coming up. The Wild Rose, the Alberta Republican, the standard 3 or 4 others. So I noticed lots of signs when I left Calgary. I live there, and it's up tomorrow, and it's a crapshoot, really, I think. But this is the area for that type of sentiment, I believe.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, in the beginning of the next year, we're expecting there to be a referendum here in the province. How do you feel about a separatist referendum coming to the province?
Well, I mean, let the people decide, the majority, let democracy prevail. We got to get more respect from Ottawa.
As you can see, there are a few candidates on the roster here, and it's going to be a battle. It's either going to be a continued stronghold for the United Conservative Party area, or perhaps like in the past, a separatist MLA will be elected in this area. And it's worth noting that it's not just the Three Hills, Olds, and Diddsbury towns, but the general area, it's the district, which is just called by the names of those 3 towns. So it is very interesting. We are going to see between these 3 candidates who's going to come out on top. And then obviously you can see in the back there, the itty bitty NDP might be trying to do something here as well. I don't think they're going to make much headway, but it is worth noting that this by-election is coinciding with 2 others in Edmonton, where former Mayor Naheed Nenshi of Calgary is expected to run, and it's a year later that he might have a seat if he wins. In regards to Alberta not getting a fair deal in Ottawa within Confederation, how do you feel about that?
It's just politics. Nobody's getting a fair deal. You never get a fair deal. There's always a short end of the stick, it's people just mad. I don't know, just be mad and keep it to yourself. But politics is politics. It's always going to be like that. You're never going to get the full, whatever it is. She tells you one thing, right? She's going to do all this and that, but let's just see what happens when the time actually comes, right? Talking is one thing, actually doing it's another, right?
Yeah. So, and last question for you. So, it seems like there are 4 main candidates on the ballot, 2 of them being separatist-minded, one of them being the United Conservative Party, and the last one being the NDP. Where do you think you're going to be, if you are casting your vote, where would you cast it?
I can't lie. I always kind of vote towards the left, but I haven't really read up on too much on what the Conservatives are doing, but I had some agreements in what Pierre was doing during the federal election. But hey man, I guess we'll do a little bit more research.
What is it the shortfall from the UCP, that the potential rising of the Republican Party? What's the needs of this community?
I think we just don't give in easily to power players in government or otherwise, and maybe they see that and they know that we're going to stand up for ourselves. Like during COVID, we didn't, maybe half of the community followed the government orders or whatever, but half probably didn't. So it's just that kind of area where we will not be completely rebellious or anything, but we won't also just go along to go along. You know what I mean? Whereas in the cities, I'm not sure if it's just that they just don't want to cause trouble, but they tend to go more toward following the rules or whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, and obviously this riding has elected a separatist MLA to the legislature in past, and there is that potential that might happen again. Do you think that simply is a message of the unheard that they would elect, or do you think that the separatist sentiment is really ready to go and leave Canada?
I think the separatists that are hardcore, which isn't me personally, but they're ready to leave any time now. I would like to see more time, like maybe 5 years, to get things organized better. There's a lot of rhetoric that goes around by people who have political leanings, but in the end it can just be a way of getting more power instead of actually making change. So people who go too hardcore in one way, I don't trust that. It needs a lot more time and discussion.
And my last question for you, obviously one of the candidates on the ballot is an NDP candidate. How well do you think they're going to do?
0.
I'm a rope access technician. By trade, I'm an insulator. All of my work would be catastrophically dismantled, I guess, from the bottom up if the NDPs get in. So that is quite frightening.
And the sentiment is honestly generally towards the conservative end or the separatist end, depending on how you want to frame that. And then there's, the NDP that's, still kind of here. But I haven't heard anybody advocate on their behalf from those who we did have minor discussions with off camera. So just wanted to give you that quick update. And we are going to be back here tomorrow for the day of this by-election. We're going to try and talk to some more of the people. We're going to talk to some of the leaders, most specifically Cameron Davies, and some of the other candidates. We're going to try and get some interviews there. So if you want to see our latest on this very interesting by-election, go to rebelfieldreports.com. As always, for Rebel News, I'm Sydney Fizzard.